Hello there, Deviant Masters. Fino here with a servant guide for Altria Pendragon Rider Alter. I'll just call her Maid Alter because A, there's another Rider Alter, and B, it's easier to say. Maid Alter is a 5-star rider and a quick arts hybrid. She's got a fairly interesting kit, so let's take a look at that. Skill 1 is Summer Sweeper. This increases her attack and gives a party-wide quick buff. The party buff is bog standard, but her personal attack buff is a formidable combo because buff types are multiplicative, giving you a bit extra. Skill 2 is Coaching, a targeted cooldown reduction and star gen buff that has the cost of reducing its target's health by 1000. Later on, this gets an upgrade that comes with a delayed max health buff. Cooldown reduction on demand is pretty interesting, though it's not spammable or tied to an NP, which limits its abuse potential. That said, it does have one very apparent application, so let's get to that. Skill 3 is Reloaded, a single-hit quick buff. Lasts for 3 turns and has a 3-turn cooldown. You can stack this twice by cheating down its cooldown with Coaching. Typical doctrine with this skill is to pop it, use Coaching, and avoid using your quick cards for 2 turns. Then you pop it again and use your NP for huge damage. It's kinda fiddly but a cool playstyle. Maid Alter's Noble Phantasm is Sequence Morgan. This one's a single target quick attack that refunds 10% charge and reduces crit chance and overcharge. Brutal crits are a fact of life in Epic of Remnant and Lost Belt, so crit suppression is quite nice. On the other hand, the 10% refund is a total joke. You should save your skills to combo with your NP and that's really about it. Let's take a look at some sample teams. While a Scotty team might seem like a no-brainer, we've got a few hiccups. First is that a lot of Maid Alter's power is being able to switch hit with another attacker. She has her team buff to fuel another teammate, while she holds back for a double reloaded combo. However, Scotty incentivizes multiple consecutive NP turns. She has her own crit suppressor, which might seem like a good extender for Maid, but you generally pop this immediately for its defense debuff, so that effect goes to waste. Scotty doesn't really benefit from attack buffs, and Maid has no NP gain or real meter skill. The 10% refund on her NP is totally inadequate. This means that you might encounter issues looping. Scotty's still massively overpowered, and you should run this team anyway, but you may find better picks for Scotty memes, which is a bit disconcerting for a 5-star single-target quick servant. Given her wait and snipe playstyle, Maid Alter benefits from another attacker to give you more sustained damage. You've got plenty of options ranging from AoE picks like Ishtar Rider to single-target beatsticks like Nyalter. The idea is that you fish for Maid's arts cards and failing that, go to town with your other attacker. Uchiwakamaru stands out as a strong and affordable choice on account of her team utility, including a party-wide NP gain buff. Every 2 or 3 turns, Maid NPs and the cycle repeats. Of course, FGO isn't so convenient to game as to give you arts cards when you need them, so your mileage may vary on this. Coaching has the demerit that it reduces the health of its target. Normally that sucks, but you can take advantage of this to enhance missing health mechanics. Enmity servants like Anne and Mary and Hijikata can benefit from this state of affairs. I wouldn't lead with Coaching because neither of these have inherent backstops. Archer Pirates do, but I'd avoid them because the class combo is a bit awkward. Instead, you'll want your Enmity character to naturally reach semi-low health, and then ping them with Coaching. With Hijikata in particular, this gives you a higher uptime on Laws of the Shinsengumi, which is a nice bonus. To round out this team, I'd recommend Irisville as she patches up a few holes. First, she gives a backstop not just for your Enmity character but for Maid as well, who has no defensive skills. On top of this, her arts loadout plays into Maid's switch hitter playstyle, giving you a realistic chance of arts chaining. Bit of an awkward team, but when you work with Enmity, it comes with the territory. Have you heard the tragedy of Doth No-Scopes McMike the Wise? It's an old Saber legend. She could reduce cooldowns, but that shit's got its own cooldown. Ironic. But there is a way to learn about spammable cooldown reduction, just not from a quick support. If you sacrifice your dignity, you can run Maid in the world's jankiest Tamamo setup. It's an insane idea, but it kinda works for a number of reasons. First is that Maid wants to arts chain. Tamamo helps with this with their 20% party charge on NP. This also reduces party cooldowns, letting you stack reloaded more than twice in 6 turns. Given that you're relying on Maid's arts cards, Tammy's arts buff stays at least somewhat relevant. Finally, her charge reduction is gonna get mileage because you have no hard NP defense. It's a stupid idea, but the fact that it works as well as it does kinda speaks to Maid's awkward playstyle. For craft essences, I'd recommend Moment of Tranquility for its hybrid buff and NP gain bonus. I'd say NP gain is really what you want, and on that front, try Magical Girl of Sapphire or Sweet Orange Jet. If your goal is to NP every 3 turns, you're gonna want gain buffs where you can get them. Finally, we have her Bond CE, Mop of Selection. On top of being hilarious, it gives a party-wide attack buff at the expense of a party-wide defense demerit. It's interesting, but doesn't gel particularly well with Maid teams. In the end, I have a hard time recommending Maid Alter for the simple reason that she's a huge investment for such a specific role. If you're gonna go with an NP spamming servant, you really want them at NP 5. And for a 5-star limited event servant? Kentucky Rider is easy to NP 5, and he has better Skadi synergy, which, yeah, that's gonna be the quick meta. By going apeshit with Maid Alter, you'd be overpaying for a worse deal. Strong NPs are nice, and if you were to ignore resources, her one big advantage over Toki. But what you'll find with quick NPs is that volume matters more than raw power. This puts a premium on NP gain modifiers and big batteries, neither of which Maid has. Ultra short cooldown abilities are very rare in this game, and Maid Alter definitely feels distinct in her design and playstyle. But distinct doesn't always mean great. She's a secondary attacker who's extremely NP reliant and requires a shitload of medals for each skill. That's pretty rough. And Rider is one of the least appropriate classes for a support in general, much less a quick one. They have naturally high star absorption that complicates 2-threat setups and greatly restricts the pool of compatible servants. This isn't to say that Maid Alter is a bad servant. She's okay, but in efficiency terms, you'll find her allure to be short-lived. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked the video, subscribe for more, and watch me on Twitch where I play odd games like Asagao Academy. It's the one where you can seduce Pro Jared, and I'm sure it's aged just fine. This Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. See you there.